Hi everyone, it's me Noamian on the Arc Truth, and as you already see, I am back here in Pullman, and next week I am going to be starting my classes soon, so yay for me. But yeah, I apologize for not making a video on Friday. I was packing, so that's that. Anyway, I'm here to talk about the situation with social media and Trump's executive order. Now, he hasn't put out an executive order yet. However, CNN has already gotten a leak of the draft already, and I will be putting their article in the description below. Specifically, the executive order, drafted by Trump, is supposed to have the Federal Trade Commission as well as the Federal Communications Commission. Say that 5 times. To police social media, more specifically, to police platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so many others that you may think of. The reason for this, obviously, is because of the issues concerning with social media censorship. A lot of people have been getting complaints over the fact that many people have spoken about out in terms of political opinion, and so many of which happen to be basically not that harmful, just simple things that either liberals or conservatives would say, and yet these Silicon Valley big tech companies just decide to censor them nonetheless. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I will talk more into that later. This in turn will create something similar to what the White House originally did, which was to open a public complaint docket, and it allows individuals to put in their complaints about what is going on in social media, and have either the FTC or the FCC look into whether that case is valid or not. And hopefully that this will eventually force these big tech companies to finally actually get off of people's backs in terms of what they're posting on social media, because it is completely annoying and insulting at this point. Because originally they say that they were not biased and that there was no problems. There was a talk with between Ted Poole and one of the executives from Twitter saying that we're willing to hear problems, which is something that they said, but they did not really address the situation with this censorship of mainly conservative voices, and just a few other other problems in general. Hell, that's even led to something called on YouTube specifically, the adpocalypse, which in the case, which has happened more times than I can count. The latest one being Carlos Maza just attacking Steven Crowder, and I already have a video posted up about that. So I'm getting ahead of myself. There are many criticisms about this. I would say that Tim Pool happens to have the best criticism for this, because this may open up to unintentional consequences of somewhat social media censorship, as well as more government control. I don't know. I think that is a legitimate thing to be concerned about. However, the problem with most of the criticism happens to come from these big tech companies and these mainstream media organizations. In fact, on CNN's article alone, and even on Quartz, there has been, quote, no proof of censorship, and it's just an alleged conspiracy theory. Some articles have actually said that it was a conspiracy theory. Others just say it's just alleged, but it's unproven, which is complete bullshit anyway. To continue on, they even went so far as to bring up the Communications Decency Act. Under the Communications Decency Act, platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, etc., are protected from liability as a result of third parties, through either posts, through articles, or through videos. But here's the problem with all this criticism. One, it's just the whole no proof of censorship, that's a whole blatant denial of reality, since there is a lot of analysis that has actually come up. And two, if they are just platforms, then why are they promoting one side over the other? I mean, after all, we have a situation with which Google is willing to try to oust Donald Trump in 2020 thanks to Project Veritas. But that is a completely different situation. Nonetheless, there's so much evidence that's been thrown around that proves that the whole no proof of censorship going on is completely biased. In fact, Quillette actually put up an analysis of this as well. Of 22 high-profile political suspensions online, 21 were on one side of the debate. Tim Pool even mentions this. He mentions this in his own video about the executive order. And of course, we also have the situation with that actually occurs with organizations as well. In the case of Twitter, the Proud Boys happen to be banned, and they are just well, yeah, I'm just gonna say it, they're just banned. But organizations such as Antifa are not. There have been people like Boston Antifa, as well as the Antifa group that's been encouraging the El Paso 10-day siege. That still remain up, and it's completely insane at this point, because I understand why some people will not like the Proud Boys, but if there is going to be any sense of a good official standard, both sides, left and right, need to be enforced upon. Not just on the Proud Boys, but also Antifa. And yet you're allowing them to be on the internet. Simple as that. Hell, even the White House even supports the idea that there is social media censorship. According to the White House, there have been over 15,000 complaints of censorship. 15,000. How can you not address something like this? Especially what the White House has been saying. And finally, as further debunking the whole narrative, Mitch McConnell has been suspended on Twitter after exposing the violent left rhetoric that actually occurred when some far left protesters decided to threaten him outside of his own house. And yet he got suspended at the time for showing the video over these crazy people. He's showing how crazy they were, and yet Twitter decides to suspend it. I don't know what his current account status is, but nonetheless, that should show you something. Now, on the opposite side would be Reza Aslan, and I think you can all remember his craziness after the El Paso shooting, when he basically said that all implying that Trump supporters should be eradicated. Hell, in response to Melania Trump saying, when she said that we should eradicate hate, which was the ideology, basically she said that she should be eradicated, and just Trump supporters in general. How is this not a showing of both bias and a case of censorship? Just how is that the case? How can you not see that? Now, this could lead to a multitude of outcomes. Like how Tim Pool said, it could lead to some more government control. And I agree that this is something that should not occur. But if social media continues to attack people based upon political affiliation, in this case mainly in the right, and even even those on the left that do not support their own narrative, this is going to happen either way. And this may force a lot of Facebook, Twitter, a lot of these quote-unquote platforms to eventually return to such as platforms, or else they're going to be labeled as publishers, and they will be held accountable for a lot of the posts, the videos, and the articles on their own websites. That's just good. I believe it may happen. I do agree that this is something that we should all be concerned about, because I don't like the idea of the government of controlling the social media. But in the case of trying to fight against big tech companies who are willingly being biased and censoring other people based upon political affiliation, yeah, I think there needs to be something done. Because I don't think either the government nor these big tech companies in Silicon Valley should have any form of authority to censor anyone based upon political opinion. That is when it comes to violence, when it comes to doxing, and that sort of thing. Now, I think that this will create a somewhat democratic backlash, mainly because of this is Donald Trump that's proposing it. But I think it's also going to be a democratic backlash because they're going to intentionally paint Donald Trump as intentionally trying to find a way to control more and more of the social media. And I don't think that's... And honestly, considering at this point, with how crazy the Democrats are, I honestly think that no one is going to give a crap about what they say. Although, they will be concerned about government takeover and that sort of thing. Hopefully, that will not be the case. And I pray to God that the censorship, whether it's against liberals and conservatives, stops. I pray to God that happens. This executive order may not be the killing blow, but I sure hope it's a hell of a good start. My name is Noah Meehan on The Arc of Truth. Please post your comments down below, like this video, share it, and subscribe. Also, if you have any criticisms about my videos and how I make them, please be sure to put them down in the comments below or message me directly. Thank you.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains.